So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about ancient Zoan devil fruits that I'd like to see added to Grand Peace Online. So a lot of these fruits were showcased in the most recent arc of 1.0, so I'm going to try and avoid spoiling anything major, but if you're trying to avoid every single spoiler, you might want to click off this video. Okay, with that warning out of the way, let's get right into the video. So ancient Zoan fruits allow the user to transform into an ancient or even extinct animal, like a dinosaur for example. They tend to be far stronger than regular Zoans and a lot rarer too. 9 ancient Zoan fruits have been showcased so far, and they all belong to members of the Beast Pirates, which if you aren't familiar is Kaido's pirate crew. And we haven't seen an ancient Zoan in Grand Peace Online yet, but I remember that the One Piece game, One Piece Final Chapter 2, had some really good ancient Zoans, particularly Spinosaurus and Mammoth. So One Piece Final Chapter 2 did really well to capture the scale of ancient Zoans, and I hope that GPO wouldn't cut corners and would make them a similar size too. The first ancient Zoan that I want to highlight is the Ryunomi model Pteranodon. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not sure if I did, but I hope I did. And yeah, on with the discussion. So basically, this, like the name suggests, allows the user to transform into a Pteranodon, which is a dinosaur that's capable of flight. I think that if this fruit was added to GPO, its playstyle would revolve primarily around using aerial combat. I think the fruit's moveset would consist mainly of diving attacks, similar to the current Phoenix Ultimate. Obviously, this fruit would probably also give a damage boost, and perhaps even damage reduction, or a considerable health boost while in hybrid or full form. I think that the transformation would be similar to Phoenix, in the sense that the full form is much larger than the base character size. If this fruit is added to the game, it would be really interesting to see a fight between a Phoenix user and a player using this fruit. So when this fruit finally does get added to the game, I'm going to try and arrange that, and I'll try and record that. But the ability of the flight would also be pretty cool as an addition, and it would add to the collection of other Zoans that can fly, like the regular Tori model Falcon. Again, I keep getting that word confused. Ultimately, I think this fruit would probably just be an overall cool fruit to be added to the game, but I can imagine some players using it to run and fight and utilizing the aerial advantage to just bully players who don't have that range. And leave a comment down below on whether or not you'd like to see this fruit added to Grand Peace Online. And the second ancient Zoan that I want to talk about is one that's a little different from the standard dinosaur trope that's pretty common, and that is the Zozonomi model Mammoth. Now the first thing that stands out about this fruit is the size. I'm not sure if the Mammoth scales with the user's height, but that aside, the Mammoth form is definitely going to be huge regardless. The last Zoan that I mentioned didn't have very many obvious weaknesses, but the Mammoth Zoan definitely does. While in Mammoth form, the user of this fruit is pretty heavy and slow, so avoiding high speed attacks could be hard, and this would make the full form not that useful in GPO PvP, since a large amount of low gear attacks are long range fast AoE abilities. I'm sure this fruit would give the user a considerable health boost and maybe some damage reduction while in full form, so that this would counter the issue that it being slow and heavy. And PvP capabilities aside, this fruit would look awesome in GPO, and it is definitely one of my favourites of the ancient Zoans. This fruit is pretty rare to see in a One Piece game, and I'm pretty sure the only game that's done it is again One Piece Final Chapter 2. And I'll show a clip on screen of the Mammoth fruit from this game now, and I'd be fine with something similar to this in GPO. And in a side note, in my opinion, One Piece Final Chapter 2 had the best Zoans of any One Piece Roblox game I've ever played. This fruit would probably have some large AoE moves of its own to counteract the slow movement speed and limited range. I could see this fruit being used in tanky builds, but I don't think it would be a huge favourite for most people unless they permanently stayed in hybrid form and used the full form to tactically get health boost and to absorb big attacks. But hey, like all the fruits I'm going to mention, I'm still excited to see this fruit being added to GPO at some point. And the third and final ancient Zoan that I want to talk about is the Ryunomi model Spinosaurus. So this fruit would definitely be interesting to see in Grand Peace Online, especially since the hybrid form looks this cool. The full form is also pretty awesome, and I just wanted to mention that I'd like to see quite a lot of damage reduction in this hybrid and full form, since in One Piece, page 1, the user of this fruit didn't seem too bothered when hit by weaker attacks, and I think this shows he has quite a high damage absorption rate, and also the damage reduction must be quite high in this form too. And this fruit was also shown in One Piece Final Chapter 2, and I'll show on screen now how it looked in that game. And I think some obvious abilities for this fruit would be the sort of bite move, and maybe a raw move too. I think this fruit would also be amazing for combining the standard M1 combat in order to boost damage and allow for more powerful combos. This would of course be while in hybrid form, as I don't think you'd be able to hold a weapon while in the full dinosaur form, as that would look quite strange. And I think this fruit's full form would also have to be quite big, and definitely bigger than one of the houses at Shellstown for a size comparison. And I think the hybrid form should also give the player a size buff too, so it would be better for reflecting the power increase. Overall, I think that if you're going to add these ancient Zoans to the game, it would be a good idea, and it would also be pretty cool to release them alongside Wano. However, I would also like to see just an overall Zoan update, since I feel like that's way overdue, and it'd be nice to see a lot of regular Zoans and maybe one or two mythics or ancient Zoans added in that update. That's really all I have to say on this matter, but I thought I'd make a video on it since there's a lot of people requesting it. And also on that note, if you ever want to suggest a video, you can do it in the comments, or feel free to join my Discord server. I have a channel for that, for suggesting videos. And of course, like always, I try to keep my videos an open discussion, so feel free to voice your opinions in the comments below. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're having a great day, evening, whatever time it is where you're at, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.